It is Friday, November 22nd, 2019. Bitcoin bears have won. I made bearish predictions and I didn't trade them. And I'm pissed. That is what is up on today's episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin. Let's start off with our sweep through our indicator set. Then I'm going to talk about some really important details in the altcoins. And finally, I'm going to finish this video with probably the most important part of this trading plan. Before we get going, I put these videos together on YouTube as a companion for the trading plan that you can go and download from the website Introtocryptos.ca. Just enter your email and you can receive the webinar that is the companion, the complete trading system that is the companion to this stream. As I've been observing this over the last while, my main focus has been that we are in this sort of uptrend right now, and that we are in one of these pullbacks along the way of the uptrend in here, and that we are going to see the RSI doing something like we did here in the uptrend. My mistake was not taking into account the fact that the Bollinger Bands say that we are in a downtrend, and we are not in an uptrend. We're not in a pullback along the uptrend. We're still under the midline of the downtrend. And so we're looking to see how far it's going down. And I didn't have this as my main part of my analysis as we came out of this move up here on the 24th, 25th of October. Instead, I was seeing Moon Boy and didn't pay attention to my own trading plan. Let's zoom in on this relative strength index, because now I'm just watching to see how far does this come down. We are on our way down, but how far? And when it does come down and make a divergence, we still could have further down to go yet. And I think the longs versus the shorts will reveal some of those answers to us. So now I'm just observing how far down is it going, when is it going to catch itself, and when it does, any of the RSI moves back up this way are going to be looking for top formations and continuation of the downtrend. It's a pretty important downtrend. Now that we're down below these levels, as the RSI is coming back, what's this, the 12-hour time frame? As it comes back up to these levels, we'll be looking for top formations underneath these levels. And we'll see how that pans out. Let's zoom in a little closer from the 12-hour just to observe the 4-hour on a downtrend. So again, really watching for that trend line break now from this downtrend. And I'm not trading this, I'm just observing. Here we are. My trading signal was a while ago and I didn't trade it. Here we have the on balance volume. And if I reflect on the fact that we are in a bear market and that we are starting the bear cycle here, any kind of uptrend, any kind of uptick in the volume actually is going to probably match with a top formation, and we'll see a break of that top formation, a break of the volume, and a break of the RSI again as we're coming down to test whatever we're coming down to next. So if we are in that downward structure now, and we have been, the Bollinger Bands told us clearly that we are in the downward structure as we went past these levels. So now we're watching for this to come back up and give us another sell signal maybe. But I do think we're going to hit that long-term trend line. Let's see how this pans out. Now let's zoom in a bit. I want to see the nature of this dumping, because I was pointing out that we were from heavy dumping, less heavy dumping, up to buying volume. Oh my God, here we go. It's going to... And right there was actually my trading signal as that happened, just as we saw in the past. So this accelerated, and all the way along here I'm going, when it goes, if it goes, here's the measure of when it's bullish. Here's the measure of when it's bullish. This will recover to bullish when, it will recover to bullish when, all the way along here, while my exponential moving averages were crossing over. So as I zoom into the 4-hour time frame, here's the top formation. 1, 2, 3 top formation, exponential moving averages crossing over. We already know the weekly MACD, our Bollinger Band, was giving us the bearish ceiling there. And so now the pissing off the roof formation. Thank you again, Crypto Sniper, for the very apt chart formation name. It has come down to what could be the capitulation lows. Actually, if we pull this out of the way and just draw in an estimation, capitulation pattern comes down in an anti-parabola, a parabolic curve on the way down, like we see here, and then a sharp bounce up, followed by everybody going, oh my goodness, what just happened? From there, we have another choice moment. And as we zoom into like the 1 minute bars or something, we could probably see something like this starting to play out now. So we'll just watch this over the next couple days and see what happens with it. And it's okay, we'll see at the end of the episode that Bitcoin is not the only game in the world, and it's important that you don't just focus in on just one market. So here again is the 1, 2, 3 top formation, and another little 1, 2, 3 top formation here, but the weekly MACD had given us the nod. It already told us before Bollinger Bands confirmed it, actually. So now when we zoom in from the weekly, we can see this divergence across the top. And I nailed this one really well. I did well on that top. I did well here. I did well here. I didn't do well here. I did especially poorly here. And then I was out of denial after this. And it's too late. I didn't want to trade after that. So here is the evidence for my subconscious mind in the next time we come across this. As we're coming to this top formation and we're doing something obvious like this, let's zoom in. There it is again, obvious. And I knew that the 12-hour had to cross positive all the way along here. We're watching for it. It got close, not close enough. And then as it's flaring wider as we're dipping out of this, I knew, we're heading. And let's zoom in. It's still flaring wider on the 4-hour time frame. The 1 hour hasn't crossed back and given us any kind of bullish divergence off of this. Nothing. We're still in our way down here. So this is not a bullish divergence on the way down. So really, to have caught this is right there at the 1, 2, 3 top formation as the 4-hour exponential moving average crossed over. That was the signal right there. So let's go into the Ichimoku cloud and just observe that the red has started to tick back towards the blue slightly. Just observing what's going on. Let's go into the 1-day view. This is a point of consternation for me. Because of the way I read this helped me stay bullish right through a part of the trade that was critical. Right at this point of the crossover of the 4-hour exponential moving average and this 1, 2, 3 top formation, I was arguing against it because of the difference that we were below the cloud here. The blue line hadn't crossed. We're inside the cloud, which could have been a reversal, and that the blue and the red line were a very different relationship. Now it's easy to point out that the blue line was on a descending track towards the red as it was here. Not the distance from it, but the relationship and the direction toward it, perhaps, is the more interesting and the more important aspect of this. So this twisting to the positive through this phase here kept me bullish and overrode one of my own trading rules. 12-hour time frame, the Ichimoku cloud was clear, and I was telling myself it's clear as this was happening. But the cloud was green. The 4-hour time frame was also crossing at the very same time. Now it's dipping down, accelerating. Like we're not done going down yet. The 4-hour time frame. That was the 1 hour. Now we're on the 15-minute time frame. This doesn't look like we've found a bottom. The 5-minute time frame is not giving us any kind of bullish turnaround. So there's more down to come. However, the one indicator that has been kind of different than the others is Bollinger Bands. And now weekly has come down to the bottom of the band, which doesn't mean that it is the bottom, but now it's time to be watching for the reversion. Let's go into the 1 day. So this is flaring wider and flaring wider on the top now, where yesterday it was holding parallel, and through this period of time, it's sliding off, sort of like we see here, and that means that there's probably a big move yet to come. The 12-hour time frame sliding, and this is starting to widen, so the volatility is increasing, but we are outside of the band, which generally we're watching for now, that reversion for it to come back up to the mean. So this is an extreme right now, and that pretty soon it'll come back up and retest this middle line. Let's go into the 1 hour time frame way outside. It could be a time for it to revert and come back up. So we'll just watch just watch the 15-minute time frame coming in. And it would have been like, if we were watching the 5 minute or the 1 minute, we could maybe start to identify this. It's still not a pattern that is clear to me, so I'll continue to watch it, I'll continue to observe it, but for now, everything is heading downward. And we can see that Bitcoin dominance is rising, and it's made a very similar pattern to what we've seen in the past, where it spiked lower, then it spiked higher, and then it's made a 1, 2, 3 formation, and it's starting the trend. So what this means right now, if Bitcoin is dropping and Bitcoin dominance is rising, that means altcoins are dropping faster than Bitcoin versus US dollar, or at least falling just as fast in US dollar value. And if we go and take a look at another indicator to pay attention to that makes me think that we're still going down lower is the longs versus shorts. Both of these charts along the top here are Bitcoin. They're identical charts. And then we have the longs and we have the shorts here. The shorts didn't really pick up as we came across this period here. But we're past important technical levels here. I think we're going to be retesting and coming back down further. And the longs really haven't been punished properly yet. Look at them still holding on to their long positions, even though we've come back past these technical levels. And so that makes me think that if I bring this out to the 1 day view, and I don't know if we can get 1 day view of this data. Oh yes. May is when the longs, look how high the longs are compared to May. If I was to do technical analysis on this longs chart, doesn't it give you the feel that this is a top formation, 1, 2, 3 top formation? I think prices are going to be coming back significantly deeper. I'm not trading it, but that the longs are going to be punished right back down to these 1800 level. They're way too high compared to what the price is doing. It's too much of a pissing off the roof formation. It's broken too many technical levels and the longs are holding on. So we're going to get punished. So you may let me know if you're going short on this. Come and join us on our Discord chat and chat with all of the bears who are dancing and having a great time on this one. The main thing I'm paying attention to now is all of the altcoins. We can see that the bullishness and bearishness of the alts have really changed. As we were predicting earlier, we went from a very high level of alerts and they pulled back first. And now we're having a whole bunch of the hold status pull back. So we had 11 a couple days ago, we had another 11 the day after that, we had a few more yesterday, and then today we had 17 exits on Binance. So we've really seen an increase in the number of exit coins on Binance, and now I'm going to do a special report on those to scan through and see what should we learn now about this watershed moment that has come through the altcoins since this period of time. Since right at this period of time, all the way through to here, we've seen some data in the altcoins that they have revealed which of the projects we should be investing in and which ones we should not be investing in, like for the next 3 years type of thing. And I'll explain that more. I've got a special video coming up and I don't want to reveal it here, but there's a special bonus class coming up and you'll know about it if you're a subscriber here. If you're a subscriber on the website and you've picked up that free webinar already, you'll be the first to know. And if you're over on our Discord chat, you'll get early notice there as well. The most important thing to know is that Bitcoin is not the only game in town, but that a diversified strategy across the entire sector is a better way to trade rather than jumping in and out on just one coin. For my own part, this has been a far more successful strategy. And it's also important to note, as you're new to trading and you've learned about Bitcoin trading and you've learned about altcoin trading and you're starting to look over at other markets, we can see that this 1, 2, 3 bottom formation works in other markets as well. So I've done very well in trading silver over this last while. I'm long in silver again here with a little small position and watching this one taking off as it's made this internal 1, 2, 3 formation in the new uptrend. If I go out to the weekly charts, this is the weekly chart of silver, it kind of looks like an altcoin, doesn't it? With this big move up, the top formation, a top formation much like Bitcoin right now, and Bitcoin has a long ways to go and settle out if it's going to follow a pattern like silver did. And I'm really excited about my position in platinum here as well. It's made a triple bottom here. It's made a huge change in the trend for this coin. Bitcoin is in a top formation coming down. Silver, gold, platinum, and other markets, however, are in better situation for trading for a trend. So in review, the bears won decisively on the 25th of October when they stopped this move from going higher. And the battle was finished on November the 6th when this 1, 2, 3 formation actually broke its level and the relative strength index calved past here. Now we're on a downtrend, and even if the relative strength index trends upward for the next while, we're actually going to be watching for a short signal from underneath those prices. We're going to continue watching the MACD indicator, and nothing is going to give us any bullish feel until the 4-hour and the 12-hour start to cross. Now that we've passed critical technical levels here, the MACD indicator on the weekly view is likely going to be coming down past the midline. Even if we do get a bottom formation and a divergence in the relative strength index, I'm not expecting a change in trend until this weekly changes. The Ichimoku cloud is strongly bearish across all time frames, except the weekly does give us some targets as to where that bounce is going to occur. And the coincidental thing is that that bounce is very close to the technical levels for this trend line on the logarithmic views. It matches up very well to the $5,800 level. And finally, we can expect several more months of bearish tone to the market until the Bollinger Bands on the weekly view crosses above the midline. I'm super stoked about the special report that I've been putting together on the altcoin markets, and I want to remind you that Bitcoin is not the only game in town. If you have learned the skill of trading, then I invite you to explore markets and charts in other areas. Thanks again for following along. That wraps it up for today's episode of the 24 Hours of Bitcoin.